Now, Pope Francis, the charismatic Argentine pontiff who redefined the modern papacy, died at the age of 88. Known as the People's Pope, Pope Francis leaves behind a transformed Catholic Church, more compassionate and engaged with contemporary issues, yet still anchored to its ancient traditions. Here's a report.
Shock, sorrow, and reverence. The world reels as Pope Francis, the People's Pope, breathed his last. His death marks the end of a papacy that shattered conventions, upended tradition, and left the Catholic Church forever changed.
Fratelli e sorelle, vi lascio grazie tante dell'accoglienza. Pregate per me.
Elected in 2013, he became the first pope from the Americas and the Southern Hemisphere. From the beginning, he made clear that his was a mission of proximity, not privilege. "My people are poor, and I am one of them," he once said. The 266th Pope refused the palatial apostolic apartments, choosing instead to live in a modest Vatican guest house. Before becoming Pope, Jorge Mario Bergoglio, born in Argentina to Italian immigrants, he worked various jobs, including a nightclub bouncer.
We feel enormous sadness. He was a pope who was very committed to the poor, to those in need. He was humble. He will be greatly missed.
The Argentinian pontiff ushered in a swathe of reforms over his 12-year papacy. Under his leadership, the Vatican underwent financial reforms, including the conviction of one of his own top aides, Cardinal Angelo Becciu, in a major financial scandal. His legislative impact was vast. He rewrote the Vatican Constitution and reshaped its legal system. For the late Pope Francis, love for humanity transcended religion. He visited refugees, kissed the feet of prisoners, and prayed at mosques and synagogues. 3 years ago, on a visit to Canada, he apologized to the indigenous people for how they were wronged at residential schools. Pope also appointed the first female Undersecretary of the Synod of Bishops, starting a seismic shift in a church long paralyzed by patriarchy.
It's a great disappointment, a great loss, a man who has innovated the church and a man who has left a great mark. And this, his absence, causes great pain.
If I had to describe Pope Francis, the most important thing would be his work for the unity of the Church, his fraternity and humility. A man that was very close to the young people, a very sensible man in his words.
Francis denounced indifference shown to migrants and kept urging Europe and other countries to open their doors to those seeking better lives. The pontiff was outspoken about Israel's military campaign in Gaza, calling the humanitarian situation in the Gaza Strip very serious and shameful. From the bloodshed in Ukraine war to climate change, the Pope never minced his words.
Pope Francis was history's first Latin American pope. He was history's first Jesuit pope. And he was the first one to name himself after St. Francis of Assisi. That Franciscan friar was a real lover of nature, and that message really came through in the emphasis that Pope Francis placed on caring for the environment. He made climate change and the need to combat it a real hallmark of his papacy. He wrote an entire encyclical about the environment.
He remained hospitalized for 5 weeks, suffering from severe double pneumonia. This was his last public appearance on Easter Sunday, blessing the faithful Vatican's St. Peter's Square.
Cari fratelli e sorelle, buona Pasqua.
Francis's desire to chart a different path was evident right to the end. With his decision to be buried not at St. Peter's Basilica, but in Rome's Santa Maria Maggiore Basilica. He will become the first pope in more than 100 years to be laid to rest outside the Vatican.
For latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.